Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Yarnflakes Podcast. My name is Audrey and this is a knitty yarny podcast from the southwest of France. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this new episode. I hope you are all doing well. I have an episode for you this week filled with cool stuff to show, and I intended it to be very short, but I just recorded the French version of this episode and I am feeling so chatty at the moment. It's a little bit of a messy day. We need to bring some of our pets to the vet. They're okay, it seems. I need to handle different stuff, and this afternoon we're supposed to have someone come and install fiber optics in our house. That's the plan. I think what's going to happen is that you might see in the news that some French girl killed a technician with knitting needles. So if you see that, that will be me. So yeah, I don't know if this episode will be online because I might lose internet or I might be in prison. Who knows? It's not the poor technician's fault, obviously, but you just vent into whoever's present. I have many things to share. We just reached 6,000 subscribers on the channel, and I just wanted to say thank you because that's really nice, and I hope you like the podcasts and everything. And I have some fun things planned, which I hope you will enjoy, and I will talk more about that at the end of the episode. Now, I have lots of things to say. So I'm going to jump ahead, and you can find timestamps to all the different sections of the podcast in the description down below. So if you want to skip anything, if you're not interested in any section, please feel free to look at that and jump ahead. I also put links to everything that I talk about, as well as my social media and my patterns for sale on my different platforms. So hi. Yes, my hair is now back to a normal color. Yes, everything's fine. We are now in the time period where the light is awful, hence the artificial thing here, but I hope it's okay. It does not change the colors too much, so that's good. I'm going to start just by making a quick announcement. The Gift Along 2020 is happening. So if you don't know what the Gift Along is, I participated in it last year and I decided to join again this time. It's a huge knit along, basically an international one. It happens on a Ravelry group, so I will put the link in the description down below. Basically, the goal is to knit patterns from independent designers. So if you want to check it out, you basically until the end of the year, what you do is you knit patterns that were individually published by the designers that are registered into the event. And the first part of the event is the sale period. So we have until the end of November, so until November 30th. 30th? No. Okay, whatever. November 30. You have 25% off a selection of patterns from the designers that participate. So I'm going to put the link below to my bundle. So I selected 20 of my designs. It's a mix of, there are mittens, there are hats, there are cowls, there's some garments as well. I tried to do a bunch of different things. I tried to put in some things that would be fun to knit as quick winter gifts for the knit along, and also some more popular patterns that will be more accessible with the discount to more people in case you need that. So in this bundle, everything will be written on it, but basically you have 25% off with the code GIFTALONG2020. Plain. Why? We were in lockdown. So, and this runs until the end of the month. You can use the code whether or not you will participate in the gift along later. Why am I doing these gestures? I'm like so posh and annoying. You can use the code even if you don't intend to participate in the knit along afterwards. It's fine. So this year there are 250 designers that participate, and I made a favorites bundle on Ravelry where I basically chose my favorite pattern. Well, sometimes it was hard. So one of my favorite pattern from the participating designers. So I couldn't do all the participating designers, but there's like over 100 patterns in there. And yeah, basically this can give you an idea of the designers that are participating in the event, and hopefully you can maybe discover some new creators in there. There are tons of very talented designers, people that make the most gorgeous lace designs, lots of colorwork. There are some amigurumi crochet things, lots of house things, very different. It's an international thing, so there's very different styles and things, and it's really nice. So yeah, maybe if you see in it a pattern that you like, you can check the designer's portfolio and see what patterns they put on sale in case you'd like one of those. But yes, this can give you sort of a view of the 250 designers who are in. So yeah, everything is in the description, all the links to the different sales and bundles if you want to have a look at that. Now, since we're on to promoting stuff, I might as well move on to what I'm wearing, because this is a new design that I just published on Ravelry and Payhip, and it is the Pineraie cardigan, and it is a huge, cozy, comfy, DK weight drop shoulder cardigan with fringes and some ribbed cable thingy. So this is a top-down cardigan. So you start with the shoulder, you cast on the shoulder, you advance it a little bit here, put the stitches on hold, you cast on the other shoulder, you do the same, then you cast on stitches for the back of the neck to connect the two shoulders. You make a bit of short rows. As you can see here, these are German short rows so that the shoulders settle. And then you knit the back until the armhole. Then you pick up stitches here on the shoulder, basically where you cast on. You're gonna pick up stitches, and you're gonna pick up stitches from the wrong side. So you're gonna have like this fake seam here that you can see just under the tassels. And from here you're gonna start the front. So you're gonna have short rows again here, and you're gonna have on the edge this texture motif, which is a very simple little cable thing. Basically it's twisted stitches in one side and then on the other side. That's how it goes. It's really simple to do. The pattern includes instructions on how to do them with a cable needle and without, in case that's what you like. And as you knit the front, you start to increase them. And you knit the fronts until they reach the same armhole length as the back. Then you join the back and the two fronts together, and you knit downwards. And you keep increasing on the fronts forever and ever, basically, so that the fronts they basically overlap like this until you reach the desired length for your cardigan, and then you stop increasing so that it just stays a bit like this, and you work the texture motif all around the cardigan, first the taller bits and then everywhere. And you pick up stitches for the sleeve. You do a little twist so that you knit them in the round but from the inside. This way you actually do knit stitches. And they're very large straight sleeve. They have a balloon effect at the end, so they're just quickly decreased. And then the cuff is the same as the back. And finally, you pick up some stitches here at the border, all around the neckline, and you work a night cord to sort of finish it. And voila. So it's a really loose, super comfy thing. I just wanted something loose and big and bulky, etc. And it's a really simple project. And basically, if you have two ways of doing it. If you have the correct gauge, including row gauge, and you want the same length as I do, as the sample, then you're good. You can just follow the numbers in the pattern. But if you have a different row gauge, which always happens, or if you want to modify it, maybe you want it to be longer, or shorter, or more cropped, I think it would look really cool as a really long, loose cardigan that, would reach the middle of the thigh. Like one of those really loose, long cardigans for the winter. If you want to do that, then it's really easy to do so. And the pattern explains how you can adjust the things. Basically, you just knit to the length that you want, because since the fronts aren't supposed to close and they're just increasing anyway, they're meant to overlap in whatever way you want. The actual stitch count and the actual width at the bust, it does not really matter, because it's just like this anyway. So if you want to make it longer and have more stitches here, it will just fall right, because the pattern size is graded more based on the back measures, but the fronts, no one cares. So you can just knit them as long as you want, and the pattern tells you if you want to increase length and continue to increase, you do this. If you want to just add a bit of length here without increasing, you can do this. It's just a design that is a bit more about giving you the clues and the keys on how it works. So if you know me, this is something that I am very passionate about, is explaining you how things work so that you can make them your own. When a design is so simple, it's a very basic shape. It's just reverse stockinette. I don't see the point in forcing you to have specific length, specific numbers, if there's no need to. And I don't like to pretend like you're gonna have the perfect row gauge, you're gonna have the perfect, the same size as I am, you want it the same way as I am, you're gonna wear it the same way. I don't want to pretend that, because it's not true. And it's very easy for this design to just tell you how it works. And so it's nothing complicated. It just tells you how to do stuff, and you need to do them, basically. That is it. It's knitted in DK weight, so it's like big and cozy. And at the end, you add those fringes. And how these came to be, it's because of the short rows. So, as you can see, the short rows on reverse stockinette, they're visible. And it kind of touches into what I was saying in the last episode, I think, is that knitting doesn't have to be perfect. And some things show some shaping, some lines and tension things. They're gonna show up, and that's just how things are. And it's the case with short rows on reverse stockinette. Unfortunately, I tried the other types of short rows. It's awful as well. It just doesn't. This is the smoothest one. And yeah, I was just talking about this when I was knitting the cardigan, and how I don't mind it, but I can see some people would. And I was just talking about that. Someone in the comments said, or maybe you could put something on it, like a braid or a night cord. And I just instantly saw the tassels on it. And to kind of have that to kind of have that cowboy sort of look. And ever since I thought about it, I could not see the cardigan another way. I couldn't imagine the cardigan without the fringes on the shoulders. So I ended up making them, and they're really fun. They're really easy to do. You just attach them to the shoulder line with a hook. And yeah, I made mine not too long because I didn't want to them to be annoying, because you know I still want this to be like a super cozy, comfy, loose cardigan that I can wrap myself around in the house. And if I had longer fringe, maybe they would have caught onto stuff and things, and that's quite the right length for me. But yeah, they're optional, obviously. You can put some in the back as well if you like. But yeah, this is how they came to be. And I just find them really funny. And yeah, so if you really don't like the short row line, if you're like against it, and you don't want to do the short rows, you can. However, I would advise tightening the back, basically, when you add stitches to join the two back shoulders here. When you cast on the extra stitches here at the back, maybe remove like a big quarter, because the cardigan is very big and loose and it's quite heavy, and so it holds on the shoulders because of the short rows. So if you are not doing the short rows, it might not position itself well. So to work around that, you should just tighten the back and have like less stitches here on the back. And yeah, that is it. And so the yarn is a DK weight worsted spun non-superwash merino. It's the Doulin base from Sionac Yarns, which is a French indie dyer based in Ireland. And she sent me a very long time ago this beautiful, beautiful yarn, which is dyed with oak gal. So she dyes yarns with plants. And the oak gal, it just gives a really nice grey color. I really like it. So yeah, and so this is DK, like I said. Where is the right side? Yeah. And I would advise to pick a yarn that has drape, something that is relatively heavy. So a worsted span, something like BFL, for example. You need something that drapes. Also blends with alpaca or silk, not pure alpaca, because that would be too loose and go out of shape, but something that drapes, basically, because if you have something that does not fall heavy, you risk basically the front will curl and like be pulled up. But if you have something that's drapey and that's falling well, it stays put a bit better. Yeah, you can wear it just loosely like this. You can wrap it around. I have a little brooch pin from this is from Katie Green, and I like to close the cardigan with it, if I can figure out how I did that. So yeah, this is the Pineraie cardigan, and it's available on Ravelry, and it has a little discount for the release, which is 15% off with the code Pineraie. Now, why Pineraie? It means a pine tree forest in there you go, I touched my little brooch. It's a pine tree forest. It means pine tree forest in French. And I just thought that these reaped cables, I thought that they looked like pine trees, basically, because they're like tall and elongated. And yeah, Sionac Yarns is currently manufacturing a baby, so I don't know how many how she's working at the moment, if she has lots of yarn in her shop. But if you don't know her, I highly recommend that you check out her work. She dyes yarn with natural plants and dyes, and she has a really nice selection of bases, and her universe is really, really nice and sweet. So I encourage that you check her out and see what she's up to at the moment. But yeah, so I hope you like it. It's like my cozy chunky thing of the season. And yeah, it's also available on my PayHip store as usual, with a lower price point, but that you can modify if you want to support me a little extra. So yes, I think I said everything about Pineraie, and I can move on to my works in progress. And the first one is something that you have seen me talk about. It's my cardigan knit in collaboration with Heidi, which are a French indie dyer. And I am using their merino silk light fingering weight, which is a 600 meter per 100 gram yarn. It's a really crisp, fun, non-superwash merino and silk blend, held together with their kid mohair and silk base. Now, I am making the weirdest thing. So, I am almost finished with one side, which is gonna make it easier for you to understand, finally, the construction of this cardigan. So, it's a really, really fun construction, and it's kind of in the same way as this. So, if you like both, it's gonna work well, because you can make this one. This is like the first venture into owning your own knitting and modifying it, and this one is kind of a next step into that, because in a similar way the construction is fun, but it's simple, but it allows you to modify it. So what did I do? So as you can see, this is how the cardigan is going to be, and basically I started by knitting the back panel here with this really pretty lace, which I already talked about, which is a really nice structured lace, and it shows well with the mohair. And I knitted the back panel, and then I split it in half, basically. And these are the two front panels that I knitted until the desired length. Then, I picked up stitches here on the side, and I knitted until I reached the side. So basically, it's you were knitting this way and then this way, basically, to join under the arm. And once I reached the quarter circumference that I wanted, I did a 3 needle bind off here. And on the bottom of the body, you have some 2x2 ribbing, which I kind of like how it is horizontally. It's kind of fun. And on the shoulder here, I did some short rows here to sort of set the shoulder and push it a little bit forward. There's not a lot because I didn't want it to be too offset compared to the rest of the body. And once you have done your 3 needle bind off, you only have the sleeve stitches that remain, and you can just continue your sleeve downwards. And I should have finished that sleeve last week. I intended to finish it, but I burnt my hand. And you can't see it really anymore, but I basically splashed boiling water all over my hand. So I had to spend 3 hours with my hand in icy water to try and make the pain go away. Which is not the best thing when you are wanting to knit, like it's not really compatible. So I didn't finish the sleeve, but I almost did. I actually knitted the entire length, and now it's a straight sleeve. Now I'm gonna decrease a bit and work the cuff, and I kind of want a double length cuff, but I'll see, to have a folded cuff at the end. And yeah, when I have done that, I have finished one side of the cardigan. This is the back. And now I will only need to do the same thing on the other side. And it's really lots of fun to knit. I really like working on it. It's really fun to knit. It's fun to design, even if it's a bit challenging to find the right words. I'm trying to write the pattern as I go to sort of see if I can make things clearer as I read them again, because it's very simple. It's very logical, but when you explain it in words, it just sounds weird. So yeah, that's just that's the thing. Sometimes with knitting instructions is that the most simple thing, they can get really confusing if you try to explain them. Especially since the way this cardigan is shaped, again, you don't need a definite stitch count, so I can't quite give precise numbers. I have to give instructions that are clear, but without numbers, because when you pick up the stitches here for the body, you put markers. I have you put markers for the armholes right here. So you measure from the split. The split is the back of the neck. So basically you measure the armhole here and the armhole down. And I say place markers. So this here is the sleeve, basically, is what becomes the sleeve. So you need to pick up a certain amount of stitches here, because then this will be your sleeve shaping, and this is graded. But what you pick up after and what you pick up on the front, I don't care. It doesn't matter, because it determines the length. And so if you want to make a longer cardigan or a shorter cardigan, or if you have a different row gauge, then it does not matter the number of stitches that you pick up. So I need to write the instruction so that the numbers don't matter for the body, only for the sleeve. So it's a little bit of a different mindset, so to say. And it's really easy. It's just that people need to put themselves in the right mindset, I think. And the way I'm trying to do that is I took pictures, step-by-step pictures of the construction. Like I took a picture of the back. I took a picture of the lace when it splits. I took a picture of where I picked up the stitches, of the short rows, of the 3 needle bind off, and I took pictures of the sleeve. And then I'm gonna take some pictures again to show you that you do the same thing on the other side. So I hope that this way the construction will be clear. At first I considered making schematics of the different steps, but then I thought an abstract schematic, it might not be the best idea. And I think people will recognize better if they actually see my knitted sample. So yeah, that is one thing that I'm trying to do to make the pattern writing a little bit more brainless, so to say, is taking the step-by-step pictures and yeah, try to give the instructions at the same time saying it doesn't matter the number of stitches that you have, no matter how counterintuitive that might be for knitters. Yeah, for example, a thing is that the back is slightly longer than the front, so you don't have the same number of stitches, but you need to readjust that when you're doing the 3 needle bind off. So you need to decrease the extra stitches that you have on the back, so it makes like a small gather here. Mine is really small because I didn't have a big difference, but if you want to have an extra long back and a short front, that's totally possible. So yeah, I need to include those instructions and say decrease the extra stitches. It doesn't matter how many they are, but yeah, so that the back curves in basically and makes like this little gather effect here before the 3 needle bind off. You can see it here a bit. It's not blocked, and I think the ribbon will position itself well enough once it will be. And so this is sort of my thing when I'm knitting this design. I'm writing it up at the same time. And what I really love is the yarn combination, because I like the fluffy mohair thing, but I'm trying to find interesting ways of doing it, like to play with it, because it gives a fluffy texture and that's cool, but I want to see what you can do extra with it, like have a lace that shows really well, or play with color a bit, which you might see. You will see very soon what I mean by that, because I have a project that I can't wait to cast on. And at the same time using a fun construction, so that it's not just about the fluff. And I'm really happy with this combination, because since this yarn is a light fingering, like I said, it's almost lace weight, it's very light, it's not as heavy. I'm using 3.75 millimeter needles, I think. My gauge is like a sport decay weight, but I really think this cardigan works really well combining a lace weight and a fluffy thing. I don't know how good it will be if you just use a sport weight. I'm not sure. I think it needs to be something that's quite light and airy. So the fact that I'm combining lace and mohair, it still makes it a winter cardigan, because if not, it will be quite light, which can be really fun as a spring and summer garment as well. But it's just much lighter, and it has drape, and at the same time it has some structure, because like there's more silk, and silk is quite strong, and so that's really, really good. And I'm really liking the color, which is like this sort of ochre caramel thing. And I think I'm gonna call for testers soon. I'm just gonna finish that sleeve, try and take pictures of like half of it and call for testers, but I don't know, because I kind of need to do a bit of the other half to finish writing up the instructions. So yeah, I'll see. Again, if you'd like to stay here. A nasty stitch is trying to run away. If you want to know when I'm calling for testers, you just have to send me your email address. You can do so, like just send me a message on Instagram or on Ravelry, and I will add you to the list. It's just about receiving the test calls when a patterns need testing. So yes, this will be the Palmire cardigan, because it's a name, but I thought it looked like palm trees a bit, the lace. So yeah, this is scheduled for February. I need to check with the dyers what we're gonna do, and this is in good way to be completed not too long. I hope. So moving on to other works in progress, new ones, sort of impromptu cast-ons. I kind of felt like knitting socks. I just wanted to. I don't know, I'm having a splurge. I haven't designed socks in ages, and I really wanted to, and I had two really cool ideas that I just had to knit. So I knit one sock of two different pairs. They're not blocked, so they look a bit ugly, I'm sorry, but I'm putting them on blockers so you can still sort of see. So this is the first sock idea that I had, and it's more of a slipper, and I wanted to use Tukuwool sock for the longest time. So Tukuwool sock is the sock yarn of Tukuwool, so it's a blend of Finnish wool and nylon, and it's a heavy sport weight yarn. And I wanted to make slippers with it for a very long time. I do really like their other yarn, the Tukuwool fingering, the one which has no nylon and is a finer regular fingering weight. I really like this one. I do use it for socks, especially Colourwork socks, because with Colourwork, you have a dense gauge, you have a double layer. It's good enough for me for the usage I have of my socks. But I did want to try their specific sock yarn, and I came up with this idea with this texture thing, which looks awful unblocked, but you can see I have these triangles here of these little leaves that look like embroidery. And so, give credit where credit is due. I was talking with my friend Jessica, which is Cassie Knits. She's a French designer. We were talking about various things, and she sent me a video of this technique, and we thought it looked really cool because it looks like embroidery basically, but it's done as you're knitting. There's no separate thread or anything. It's done by pulling loops out of your fabric. And it sort of makes this leaf motif. And you can make them bigger or smaller. It doesn't matter. And it's really easy to do. It's simple and it's really fun. You can make it. We were talking with Jessica of making it with like a different color, sort of like Colourwork. But I also just saw simple socks just with it. So that's why I put them like here on the crown of the sock, and the rest of the sock is simple stockinette with the German short row heel. And yeah, these are like cozy house slipper. This is the Ruura color of the Tukuwool sock. It's like a beigey grey thing. It's really nice. I kind of want a sweater in Tukuwool sock now. Yeah, it needs blocking. Okay. So yeah, this was really fun. And I really like it. And this was the first sock that I cast on. Well, I shouldn't have, but couldn't help myself. And I'm really looking forward to knitting the second one and actually designing them. They're really wintry things, and I would like to release them this winter if possible. So we'll see. The second sock design that came to me is a Colourwork one, and it's Colourwork and rib, and it also needs to be put on the blocker because if not it looks awful, and it's this one. And yeah, I used Mondim sock yarn, which is from Retrosaria, and it's a lovely sock yarn. It's pure fingering white Portuguese wool. Some people, it doesn't work for socks for some people because it has no nylon, and it depends on how you use your socks. I have socks in Mondim. It's like one of my first ever designs, and I've been wearing them a lot, and they're still okay. There's a point on the heel where it's starting to thin out, but I've worn them a ton, so that's normal, so I need to reinforce that. But Mondim for me works for socks, for the way I'm wearing my socks at home, not walking a lot with them. So yeah, so this is what I'm using for this pair. And basically I wanted to make this Colourwork thing, which is completely random. I just drew some shape on my chart and I just filled them in with colors and stuff. And yeah, so I'm gonna have to make different charts for different sizes. Usually when you do Colourwork socks, since they don't stretch or anything, you grade them by modifying the gauge. This way everyone has the same motif, even if they have a bigger or smaller socks. But for that, I can't really do this for these because then the rest of the sock is ribbed. And even though rib is pretty forgiving size-wise, which is why I used it, it's a 3x1 ribbing, the rest of the leg and of the sock. Even though it's pretty forgiving, I can't just grade one size sock and expect it to fit everyone. So I think I'm gonna make it so that there's 3 different sizes, and each of them is gonna have their own different chart. They're all gonna be as close as possible. But yeah, it's just random shapes. And yes, it's 3 colors Colourwork, so sorry. But yeah, it's only 12 rows at the top, and it's not really that complicated. as usual, my Colourwork patterns all have the instructions on how to handle the colors if you want to respect color dominance, blah blah blah. So I will include that as well. But yeah, basically it's just a portion of 3 colors Colourwork knitting, and I just really like the look of them. For these, I made the traditional heel flap and gusset. I just think they look cool. Maybe I should have made the leg a little bit longer. I don't know. Yeah, they made me think of Mondrian a little bit, you know, these shapes. I don't know, I like them a lot. And yeah, so I casted these on the weekend. I was like, I need to make them. I really want to. I need to turn my ideas into something concrete. And so this is what I did. And I'm really happy with them. And with that, I have finished with the knitting thingy. And I just want to quickly show you where I am with my BARGELLO holiday ornaments. So I've been making holiday ornaments in embroidery, the BARGELLO stitch, which is elongated embroidery stitch that I'm doing on a canvas of plastic. And yeah, so I finished the set that I was making for my boyfriend. So I was making a set of these ornaments for my boyfriend and his family, and it's shipped now normally to him in Romania. And yeah, hopefully he receives it nicely, because all of my Christmas gifts are in it, so I really hope it's gonna reach him nicely. And yeah, I took a video of the finished ornaments, so I'm gonna include it here to show you the finished thing, and hopefully I can talk over it. So yeah, it was really fun to do. It turned out much better than I thought they would. It's like when you're doing something for weeks and weeks, in the end you sort of feel like they're ugly. I'm so tired of it. I want to be over with that. But when they were all finished and completed with the brass little how's it called? The little brass dangly thing, pendants attached to them, I really like them. I think they look really cool. And yeah, basically I cut them out of the plastic canvas. So what you do when you finish the embroidery is you need to remove the shapes. So that's what I did, and I think the video is over now, I hope. Anyway, for the square ones, it was really easy, obviously, because it's a straight line. So you just cut the plastic canvas out of it. But for these ones, it was a little bit more troublesome, because you have to do like the stairs thingy, and yeah, with the little scissors, and it's a bit hard. And you really don't want to cut the canvas where the embroidery is. So yeah, it's a little bit more troublesome. But yeah, basically what you do is you have the two faces, you put them together, and then you embroider around the edges to sort of attach them together. You do a loop at the top to hang the ornament, you do a loop at the bottom to hang your brass thingy, and then it's finished. And yeah, I need to finish my own set. I have, I don't know when I will do it, because I don't even know when we're gonna have the Christmas holiday tree, because it's a mess in France with the lockdown to purchase things. So, well, that's not that bad. But yeah, so I have a little time to finish mine, but I just wanted to show you the ones that I had already finished. So yeah, I think that's it. That's it for what I've been making lately. Well, for what I'm showing. And yeah, I just want to finish this episode by talking a little bit about I want to try, emphasis on try, to do Vlogmas. I but I want to make them like the pauses videos that I've made. I've made 2, I think, this year. I want them to be like short snippets videos where I don't talk, where it's just like a little music and bits and pieces of what we're up to, what I'm knitting, what I'm cooking, what we're decorating, what we're doing for the month of December. I just want to make some relaxing, gentle videos, basically. So basically, yeah, I will not talk, so maybe I will write some things in text, so I can write them in both English and French, so I won't have to struggle with that. But yeah, just have some music and just show you my, I don't know, what I'm doing, my silly dogs and stuff. Yeah, this year it's a bit complicated. My boyfriend and I are not going to be together for the holidays. I think it's the first time since we're together that we can't manage to get together for the holidays. Thanks, 2020. So I kind of need something to motivate me for December, really. So something nice and fun. And I really like making these sort of moody videos. So yeah, that's the plan. The plan is to make them one for 2 days. So every 2 days there will be one of those videos. There will be short videos, like less than 10 minutes, probably just 5. Yeah, basically 1 to December, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. until the 1st of January. So yeah, I kind of want to do that, and I hope you'll enjoy them. We'll see if I can keep up with it. This is in considering that I have internet and that I'm not in jail. So we'll see what happens. We will see how it goes. But that's the plan. And I hope you will like it if I can make it happen. So yeah, I will also probably make a podcast episode at the beginning of December because I have some things to share. But yeah, this is the plan for the end of the year. I'm done. I think I've said everything. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you are well. And yeah, I will see you soon for the vlogs if they happen. And then in the next podcast. Bye!